Welcome and welcome back. It's Jane here. Welcome to this video. I'm doing a recap of my Veganuary. I'm currently towards the end of week 4. So I will switch to a voiceover while I do a meal prep. Explain to you why I'm doing this particular meal prep and the benefits I've noticed for the Veganuary I've just about to complete, as well as some cons and why I do Veganuary is the 5th year I'm doing it. So I hope you do enjoy this video. Please stick around to the end, and if you do like this content, please do consider liking my videos, sharing with people who could benefit from them, as well as subscribing. This is my super tidy house. To be honest, it's a lot of work, but we gotta sell this house. And here is the shop I've done. So this is kind of a mini weekly shop. This is for £49.90. So there's no meat in there. So I got some dry goods. So I got 2 olives as well as coconut milk because I ran out a couple of weeks ago. I'm currently also doing pantry challenge parts because we still use that. Some tomatoes, 2 sorts of mushrooms, but I think these are parsnips and carrots, for sweet potatoes, bananas, and as well as a lettuce, and that was £14.96. So as I've mentioned, this is the 5th year I'm doing Veganuary. When I started doing Veganuary, it was just a start to going into a vegan lifestyle, and I do remember the first day I did Veganuary, I actually lasted 5 months with being a vegan. And the reason I stopped is because I found it very hard to maintain a vegan lifestyle. Things like mayo, I was new to the whole lifestyle, so I was not as informed as I am today. So things like mayo has egg in it, and it was just the constant reading of labels that was getting very tiring to me. At the time, I was also doing calorie counting when I was doing my diet, and I also stopped that because I was getting very obsessive with reading labels, counting calories, and I just did not like that. But I did last 5 months doing a vegan lifestyle, and it was good. And there's a few things I learned from that. The first one is that I do not like the fake meat, or rather I didn't like them then. I particularly don't like Quorn. Probably the fake meat have progressed so far since then, but it's something I made a clear decision at that time. If I ever do Veganuary again, I would not go into fake meat. I also made the decision not to do a lot of tofu, and the reason for that is because tofu gave me a dry patch on my back, but I've since discovered that had nothing to do with tofu, and it's probably something ongoing, because I still get that dry patch now and then, especially during change of season. So I don't think it's related to tofu. So for that reason, on this occasion, I decided to go back to tofu, and they've got farm tofu, which is really good for making sandwiches. So I do like that, and that is something I probably keep going on forward. But also keep an eye on my dry patch at the back and see if it's getting worse with tofu. And that same decision not to have tofu made me stay away from soy products. But to be honest, I don't think I eat a lot of soy products, so it's not such a big deal for me. So as I say, the first Veganuary I did was more of part of a weight loss diet, and it did work to some extent, but with everything else, I could not sustain it. And there's a lot of videos on YouTube talking about if you want to lose weight, go on a vegan diet, and they work, and they seem to work for people. For me personally, on this time around, I actually put on some weight at one point and then went back to my starting point. So overall, for the whole month, I did not lose weight. However, I do know eating a lot of meat is not very good for your kidneys, and having a clean diet is very good to detoxify your internal organs. And so I'm hoping I've been able to achieve that with Veganuary. So why do I keep doing it every year? For me, it's very simple. December is the month that we do a lot of eating junk, chocolates, heavy meals, heavy fat meals, a lot of cheese. And for me, 1st of January, it's a fresh start. And we start on a vegan diet. I find in my household, our vegan lifestyle is very basic. We do legumes, we do loads of vegetables, loads of fruit. We don't do as much bread, but we also do like a lot of potatoes and sweet potatoes and grains such as rice. We actually didn't, I think we only had pasta once this time around. So for me, Veganuary is more like a clean cut-off point, 1st of January, when we stop eating junk food from December and start clean eating. And it works very well for the entire family, even though my child and my husband are not on a vegan diet. They tend to eat much less much less meat and much less junk food, just because I'm on a clean eating. So it does benefit the whole family when I'm doing Veganuary. In fact, my husband said he's going to be eating less meat. Now, he's gone through a few trays of eggs, but he's eating less meat, and he's actually lost weight, whilst I haven't lost weight. This is the thing. I go on a diet, he follows suit, he loses weight, I don't. It's just things that have happened a lot with us. But, it's good to think about weight loss as a whole family thing rather than just for myself. And it's good to see that even though he's not putting as much effort and even though he's not as intentional as I am, he's still losing weight, because if he's healthy, then it contributes towards the whole welfare and well-being of my family. So I know it's called Veganuary, which means a vegan lifestyle, but really I only do the plant-based element of it. I do not do the whole ethical side of being a vegan, and I also I don't change my shoes or my clothes to make sure they're all vegan. I just participate in just the food element of it. And a couple of years ago, when, as I said, 5 years ago, I tried looking at my whole life and thinking it could go vegan. And to be honest, for me, it was so much effort, I did not think it was worth it for me. It would cost me more to do that. I'm obviously going to try be sensible when I'm shopping. I'm not going to support brands that are cruel to the people who work for them or animals. However, I have to be honest and realistic. For me, Veganuary is literally about being plant-based in my food. So how did I fare? So the first week was great. As I say, I've done Veganuary before. I know what it is about. However, my diet is very much heavy on legumes, grains. We eat a lot of vegetables and a lot of fruit with a side of meat. So all I needed to do is take out the meat element of it. I did not need to go do a massive shop for it or anything. And it also worked very well because I'm also doing a pantry challenge. So there's things I needed to go through, and there's still things I'm trying to get through. And so I did not need to push up for everything. We had everything we needed. The only thing that I have to work through is when my husband does the cooking. Sometimes he'll use butter, like make rice, and I have to be very intentional and very specific to remind him to use coconut oil. And I can taste when it's coconut oil, but I don't want to be accidentally tasting it with butter, because I do like to see my challenges through to the end. It gives me a certain level of satisfaction. Having said that, I do not get so caught up in finishing a challenge that when I fail, I have a proper relapse. And a good example is 75 hard. I failed 75 hard twice so far. I started at the start of January, failed at 12 days because I forgot to drink my final liter of water. And then I failed again recently at that 9 days because I forgot to read. But I failed on like a day today, and tomorrow I was back on it. Whereas previously I would have had a full break. So I feel like I'm progressing positively forward when it comes to my challenges. Where if I fail, I am not so hard on myself, and I am doing all the work that I have done. So, and that is quite a positive thing. So week one was really good. I'm used to this. It's not a big deal. I'm already in the mindset that every January I do Veganuary. So I think being in the correct mindset is mind frame is very important, especially so I was not resisting this at all because I knew it was coming. In fact, the last week of December, I was already eating a lot of vegan meals. With a few breaks anyway, just to prepare myself into getting into Veganuary. First week was very good. My stomach felt very light, and outside Veganuary, I have 1 bowel movement. Well, I do have about 10 bowel movements in a week, and the extra 2 to 3 are random scattered throughout the week. So I go to the toilet every day, and that continued in week one. There's no massive change. And then towards of week one, I had a massive purge. And week two, I was very, very bloated, which progressed into going to the toilet 3 times a day, which I kind of expected when I'm on a fruit diet, but I was not on a fruit diet. I was eating rice, I was eating potatoes. So even though I was thinking I don't eat this much fiber, I eat a lot of fiber normally, really not. So anyway, week two was, by the time it was Wednesday, I could not pass that without going to the toilet because it was that bad. And so at that point, I decided to start eating bread to block me up. I also take iron tablets, which I stopped because of constipation. So I started taking my iron tablets to stop constipation. And it was quite interesting because they didn't work as well as normally would. They did not constipate me. And so the bread is what helped me. So I went to test this. And it's quite interesting how many breads are vegan. I think the vegan are covered with bread previously. Obviously, store-bought bread is not as good as homemade bread. I just did not have the time, and I was not in the mindset to bake my own bread. So I got bread, and by the end of week 3, my bloating had settled a little bit, not fully gone, but it was still kind of there. And so getting into week 3, the bloating continued, but I was not going to the toilet as much. I was going to the toilet twice a day, which is still a lot. And the other thing I noticed is that it seemed like the food consumption was so quick because I always wake up hungry. However, the hunger does subside very quickly when I'm not on a vegan diet. However, in January, I struggled with hunger. Even though I was making sure when I eat my 1 meal a day, I'm eating sufficient calories, they were not sustaining me throughout the day. And I think it's because the food transit is so quick and my body is not used to that. I think if I did a vegan lifestyle on a long time, I think my body and my hormones would adjust to it. However, not continuing with a vegan lifestyle. Today is the second of bread, and yesterday we had steak, so I've completed my 31 days of Veganuary, and that's it. So yeah. So into week 4. Week 4 was much better. I was still having my bread, and I think bread is what made me put on some weight. So I started at 62.8 kilos. At one point I was 63.6, but I am now back to 62.8 kilos. So I have not lost any weight overall. I've not measured my weight yet. So I don't know if there's been any fat loss on my diet, because that's one of my targets for this year. However, because of how quick those the food transited it through my system, I think I was able to detox my body also at home. The other thing I was doing this month is, as I mentioned, I'm doing 75 hard, and that involves taking a gallon of water, which I have been taking a gallon of water, and I think that could have contributed to me having a purge and also me going to the toilet as often as I was going. Um, and I think maybe I did not think about if I'm eating so many fruit and vegetables, they're full of water as well. And I don't know, I feel like my skin looks better than it did prior to starting with Veganuary. And it might be to do with the water, it might be to do the water I'm drinking, or to do with the fact that I've had a detox. When my colon is healthy, my face is much better. And I stopped drinking milk sometime maybe in October, and I'm still not drinking milk. Oh, well, milk is not part of Veganuary. And I personally find milk does something to my stomach. It's not where people say they're lactose intolerant. I'm not one of that, but it makes my belly, my colon sluggish, and also it makes my skin dry. And I think being off some food helps my skin, so I do have adult acne, and I can notice I'm having less and less of it. I'm 41, so that is obviously going to have an impact on my acne. But I think diet is also quite an important part of my acne and how it presents. So I think that was something quite positive as well. So what am I going to do next? So as I already said, I already had sleep yesterday. My husband has said he wants to eat less meat, which is great, so I agree with him. So what I'm thinking is that I would want to have more of a vegetarian lifestyle with occasional meat. And I don't know what occasional meat is going to look like, but I want the bulk of my diet to be vegetarian. So I cannot say I'm vegetarian because I will be having meat occasionally, but I would like to have the bulk maybe like in the 30-day month, maybe have 28 days of being vegetarian and only have meats now and then. The only problem with that is that I have been anemic in the past, so I need to make sure I have the correct amount of beans, legumes in my diet and seeds to make sure that I have enough source of iron in my diet because I don't want to be anemic. I do have supplements as well, and I will carry on taking my iron supplement. I'm currently taking Biotics, and it's more expensive, but it is not going to take me. I still have my iron tablets, but I will carry on taking those, especially when I need to control if I feel like I'm getting more weak. So I carry on taking those as well. But that's kind of where I want to go with this. My husband has been eating a lot of eggs. And I remember when I first ate my eggs, which is before my first Veganuary, the eggs were so cheap. The eggs are no longer as cheap as they are, especially because we prefer to have free-range eggs. And I find like in Costco, I think it's £4 something for eggs. It's having more eggs is not a cheaper alternative. That's all I'm trying to say, especially when we gravitate towards free-range eggs. And that's more to do with eggs and this whole Veganuary going vegan, but we're not. Obviously, eggs are not vegan, but I think having free-range eggs is more ethical than caged eggs. No, I don't think. I know it. Having free-range eggs is more ethical than having caged eggs or caged bird eggs. But the reason why my husband likes free-range eggs is that he says he can notice the taste difference. He thinks obviously the organic free-range tastes the best. I just cannot afford that. But the free-range, he says, it tastes much better. And because I started eating eggs much later in life, I've never actually ate caged eggs, so I don't know. I take his words for it. So that's where we're going. We're going to be having more eggs, we're keeping the chocolate in. I am introducing cheese back into the diet and yogurt, and that is going to be how I'm going to make my diet become vegetarian. And I'm hoping that to become more of my staple diet with occasional meat. So, should I do Veganuary again? Yes. I've done this for 5 years. I will be doing this next year. I know that for a fact. God willing. And that's because, as I say, the advantages of this is clears my skin. It helps with weight loss for my husband, not for me apparently. And also it's like having that detox and putting a clear line of this is when we stop eating the junk from Christmas period to start the new year eating healthy food. And overall, I think eating more plant-based is actually safer and kinder to Earth and to the environment. So you've been watching me do a meal prep, and this is the only way I know how to sustain a vegan lifestyle. When we're eating a lot of meat, we just make vegetables and we'll just put the meat in the air fryer, which makes for easy meal prep. However, when I'm on a vegan diet, there's more to it. It's more vegetables that need to be chopped up to be cooked. And preparing this in advance feels like a necessary evil, especially in a very busy household like ours. Our child has activities each and every weekday night, so we don't have the luxury to cook a fresh meal from scratch every night. This is the end result of my meal prep. So I've got parsnips and carrots. They're ready to be put in the air fryer. And so there's 2 batches of that. And here is the stir fry with the farm tofu. I like the farm tofu, so I got 3 portions of that. Here are the potatoes waiting to go to the air fryer. And here's tonight's meal for my husband. He's got the sweet potato wedges and pork. That just all needs to go to the air fryer. And here is the soup I've made, which will go, part of it will go to the freezer. And I've decided to have some of that. I do love potato and leek soup. If you notice when I was doing it, I forgot to add oil in it, but it's fine. It's got salt. It should be fine. I've decided to have a sandwich with 1 avocado and an air fryer mushroom. I've never had this before, but I mean, you cannot go wrong with mushroom and avocados. And so that is the meal prep. I hope you've enjoyed this video and have a lovely week ahead.